Evan Mercer was used to driving through storms with his 8-year-old daughter asleep in the back seat. But tonight, the rain turned the parking lot into a blur of puddles and light, and that was the only reason he saw her, curled in a soaked wheelchair, shivering alone in the dark. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Let's begin. Rain hammered the supermarket parking lot so hard it looked like the sky was trying to wash the city away. Evan Mercer gripped the wheel, squinting through the blur as he pulled up to the cart return. His 8-year-old daughter, Chloe, sat in the back seat with her stuffed koala, humming softly. "Daddy, someone's out there." Evan followed her gaze, and his breath caught. A wheelchair sat crooked under a buzzing fluorescent light, rainwater pouring off the handles. In it, a young woman curled into herself, hoodie drenched, arms wrapped tight around her middle like she was holding herself together. No umbrella. No bag. No ride. Just misery bleeding into the storm. Evan stepped out into the rain. The woman flinched at the sound of his footsteps, gripping the armrests as if expecting to be pushed away. He crouched to eye level. "Hey. I'm Evan. Are you cold? Are you hurt?" Her lips trembled. "I'm fine. Please just go." But she wasn't fine, her fingers were numb, her breath shaking, her cheeks blotchy from crying. Behind Evan, Chloe leaned out of the car. "Daddy, she's scared." The woman's jaw clenched in embarrassment. "It's not her problem." "Maybe it's mine," Evan said softly. "What's your name?" A long, trembling pause. "Aubrey," she whispered. "Aubrey Hale." The last name hit him harder than the rain. Hale, as in Hale Mobility, the company whose logo covered half the city. But before Evan could ask another question, Aubrey looked past him toward the store entrance. "My family's inside," she said, voice cracking. "My stepfather told me if I wanted attention so badly, I could sit out here and have it." Chloe gasped. Evan felt heat rise in his chest. A storm was brewing, and not just in the sky. "Okay," he said gently. "Aubrey, you're coming with us. Let's get you warm." Aubrey hesitated, then nodded once, like it was the first kind thing anyone had offered her in a long, long time. Back at Evan's small apartment, the storm softened to a dull roar against the windows. Aubrey sat wrapped in one of his old fleece blankets while Chloe stirred cocoa with all the seriousness of a surgeon. "You're safe here," Evan said, kneeling beside the couch. "No one's coming through that door." Aubrey nodded, but her eyes kept darting toward the window like she expected headlights to appear at any moment. "They'll notice I'm gone soon," she whispered. "My stepfather, he keeps track of everything. Even my chair." "Your chair?" Evan frowned. He had a tracking chip installed. "Says it's for my safety." She gave a hollow laugh. "It's not." Chloe climbed onto the armchair across from her. "Why were they so mean?" she asked softly. Aubrey swallowed hard. "Because I asked questions. About the trust my mom left me. About why Grayson gets to decide where I go. Who I talk to." Evan stiffened. "He talks to you like that often?" "Only when no one's watching," Aubrey whispered. "When people are watching, he's a hero. A savior caring for the poor disabled stepdaughter." A vibration buzzed on the table. Evan's phone. Unknown number. He picked it up, then froze. The message read. "Return Aubrey. Now." Another followed instantly. "We know where you are, Mercer." Aubrey's breath hitched. "He already found me." Evan swallowed, pulse hammering. Someone like Grayson Hale didn't just threaten, he acted. Quietly. Legally. Financially. Ruthlessly. He turned to Aubrey. "You're not going back there tonight. I don't care who he is." She looked at him, truly looked, like she was seeing someone choose her for the first time in years. "Evan, you don't understand," she whispered. "If you help me, he's coming for you too." Evan didn't blink. "Let him come." Evan didn't sleep that night. He sat at the kitchen table with his phone on the counter, watching the shadows move across the walls while Chloe slept curled against Aubrey on the couch. Every few minutes, he replayed the messages in his head. "Return Aubrey. Now. We know where you are." Just after sunrise, Aubrey stirred awake. Her hair was still damp, but her voice steadier. "There's someone," she said quietly. "Someone Grayson can't intimidate. Or, at least he hasn't yet." "Who?" Evan asked. "Logan Price. My mother's trust attorney." She stared at her hands. "He tried to push for oversight. For access I'm supposed to have legally. Grayson shut him out of everything. But he won't back down." Evan nodded. "Then we go see him." Aubrey hesitated. "He's downtown. Hale Mobility's offices are close. Grayson has people everywhere." "Good," Evan said. "Let him watch me walk you right through the front door." She blinked, a flicker of disbelief, then something like hope. Chloe shuffled into the kitchen, hair sticking up. "Are we going somewhere?" Evan kissed her forehead. "I'm taking Miss Aubrey to meet someone who can help." Chloe nodded seriously, then looked at Aubrey. "You can sit by me in the car if you want." Aubrey smiled for the first time, small, fragile, but real. They left at 8:30, the city buzzing with early commuters. Evan parked 2 blocks from Logan Price's office. The building was tall, modern, glass reflecting the morning sun. As they approached the entrance, Aubrey stiffened. "Evan." A sleek black SUV sat across the street. Engine running. Tinted windows. No plates. The hair on Evan's arms rose. "Keep walking," he murmured. "We're not stopping." Inside the lobby, marble floors gleamed. A receptionist glanced up. "Logan Price is expecting you," she said immediately. Aubrey's eyes widened. "He knew we were coming." Evan exhaled slowly. No, he knew Grayson would. The elevator ride to the 22nd floor felt too quiet. Aubrey's fingers twisted in her sleeves, her breath shallow. Evan stood beside her, broad shoulders shielding her from the world as the numbers ticked upward. When the doors opened, a tall man in a charcoal suit stepped forward immediately. "Ms. Hale," he said warmly. "Mr. Mercer. I'm Logan Price." His smile faded when he saw Aubrey's expression. "You're safe here." He ushered them into a conference room filled with warm light and law books, a deliberate contrast to the sterile chill of corporate offices. "Aubrey," Logan said gently, "what happened last night triggered a clause in your mother's trust. Your stepfather wasn't supposed to contact you without oversight. When he did, he activated an investigation." Aubrey blinked. "He did this to himself?" Logan nodded. "He's been using your medical situation to control the trust. Those days may be ending." A loud chime cut the air. Evan turned. The doors at the far end swung open. 3 people entered. Grayson Hale, immaculate suit, silver tie, expression carved from ice. Beside him, his wife Cassandra, dripping diamonds and disdain. And 2 security guards trailing behind like loyal shadows. Aubrey shrank back. Evan stepped forward instinctively. "Enough theatrics," Grayson snapped. "Aubrey, get up. We're leaving." Logan's tone sharpened. "You have no authority to remove her." Grayson laughed, slow, cold. "She is under my care. And this, mechanic," his eyes slid to Evan, "is dangerously out of his depth." Evan didn't move. Grayson stepped closer, voice dropping. "You think rescuing her makes you a hero? You have no idea what kind of trouble you're inviting." Evan met his stare. Then educate me. A muscle in Grayson's jaw twitched, the first crack in his flawless armor. Fine, he said softly, menace thick. You want a battle? Behind them, Cassandra smirked. You just started a war. Logan didn't flinch at Grayson's threat. Mr. Hale, he said calmly, you were notified of the investigation. You should not be here. Grayson scoffed. Investigations don't concern me. My family does. He snapped his fingers, motioning for the guards. Aubrey. Now. Aubrey's breath caught. Evan stepped in front of her so fast the guards stopped short. You're not touching her, Evan said, voice low and steady. Grayson's eyes thinned. Do you know what I can do to you? To your job. To whatever life you're pretending to hold together. Evan didn't blink. Try. The room vibrated with unspoken danger. Then. A voice older, deeper, sharper than any of theirs cut through the air. That's enough. Everyone turned. A man in his 70s stepped through the doorway, flanked by two aides. White hair, perfectly tailored coat, posture straight as steel. Aubrey gasped. Grandpa. Henry Hale, founder of Hale Mobility. The billionaire. The legend. The man who disappeared from public life years ago. His eyes locked on Aubrey first, softening. Then they turned to Grayson, and hardened like granite. I received a call at dawn, Henry said, stepping inside. About my granddaughter being left in a storm like unwanted baggage. Grayson paled, color draining from his face. Henry, this is a misunderstanding. It is abuse, Henry snapped. And I won't tolerate it. Cassandra's smile crumbled. Henry moved closer to Aubrey. My dear, I had no idea you were suffering. No one told me. Aubrey's voice trembled. You weren't supposed to know. Henry nodded once, jaw tight with fury. That ends today. He faced Logan. Begin a full review of the trust. Every decision. Every signature. Every medical restriction. And that tracking chip. Then he turned to Evan. And you, thank you for protecting someone my family should have protected long before now. Grayson sputtered. Henry, you can't. Henry raised a hand. I built this company. And I will tear it apart before I let you exploit her again. For the first time, Grayson looked afraid. The room felt different now, charged, trembling, as if years of silence were suddenly cracking open. Henry pulled out a chair for Aubrey, one hand steady on her shoulder. Aubrey, he said gently, I need to hear it from you. What has he done? Aubrey stared at the table, her breath shaking as she tucked her hands beneath the blanket draped around her. For years, she had been spoken about, never to. Now every eye waited on her voice. Her throat bobbed. I tried to be good. Not cause trouble. Do what they said. Evan sat beside her, giving a single, reassuring nod. Aubrey inhaled shakily. When I got sick, Grayson told everyone he was devoting his life to taking care of me. But he used my wheelchair in commercials without asking. He made me appear at charity events because it looked inspirational. Cassandra crossed her arms. We built you a life. You built a brand, Aubrey whispered, voice trembling but gaining strength. And every time I asked about my mom's trust, you punished me. Cancelled doctor appointments. Took away my aides. Restricted who I could talk to. Henry's jaw tightened. A tracking chip? Aubrey nodded. He said it was for emergencies. But he used it to monitor everything I did. Grayson stepped forward. She is exaggerating. No, Aubrey said, louder now. Last night you left me outside in the storm because I asked why you kept denying my access to the trust. You told me to sit there and think about the consequences. The silence that followed was suffocating. Henry's gaze turned lethal. Logan, add abandonment to the list. Grayson's composure fractured. Henry, she's manipulating. Enough. Henry's voice shook the room. You will not speak to her again without legal supervision. Aubrey wiped her eyes, turning slightly toward Evan. Thank you, she whispered. For what? He asked softly. For being the first person who didn't tell me to stay quiet. Henry instructed Logan to begin filing emergency orders immediately. Papers slid across the table, pens uncapped, aides whispering updates. For a moment, Aubrey seemed small and overwhelmed, but no longer alone. Grayson, however, was unraveling. This isn't legal, he snapped. You can't just strip me of authority. Henry didn't look up. Watch me. Cassandra stepped closer to her husband, voice low and sharp. Do something. Now. Grayson's eyes flashed toward Evan, the outsider, the mechanic who had dared to wedge himself between a wealthy man and his reputation. You, Grayson hissed, pointing at him. You think this ends with her trust? My lawyers will bury you. Your employer will fire you. And your daughter. Evan surged to his feet. Don't you say her name. Logan intercepted with the calm of a man who'd witnessed corporate meltdowns before. Mr. Hale, threatening a witness is grounds for immediate legal action. Grayson ignored him. His voice dropped to a venomous whisper. You have no idea what kind of empire you're stepping into. And you, Evan replied evenly, have no idea how fast empires fall when the right people stand up. Before Grayson could respond, Henry motioned to an aide. Bring it in. A second later, a technician entered holding a small silver device sealed in an evidence bag. Aubrey gasped. My wheelchair's tracker. Henry's stare could have broken granite. Found in her chair last night. Fully active. Logging her every movement. Logan placed the bag on the table. Aubrey never consented to this. That alone is enough for a restraining order. Cassandra went pale. Grayson didn't blink. Then he smiled, a thin, chilling curve. You all think you've won something today. But you don't understand the pressures at play. Henry stepped closer, inches from his face. And you don't understand what happens when you harm my family. A tense knock sounded on the door. The receptionist peeked in, eyes wide. Mr. Price, there's media gathering downstairs. Someone leaked something. Aubrey stiffened. Leaked, what? Logan checked his phone. His face drained of color. Grayson moved first, he whispered. He's already spinning a story. Evan's fists clenched. The war had officially begun. Logan's phone buzzed again, twice, 3 times, then vibrated non-stop. He finally turned the screen around. A breaking news banner stretched across a live stream. Aubrey Hale, missing, endangered. Stepfamily pleads for her safe return. A photo of Aubrey, pale, exhausted, taken months ago, filled the screen beside a headline twisting every truth. Aubrey gasped. Missing? I'm right here. Grayson adjusted his cufflinks, mask of calm returning. You disappeared with a stranger in the night. I'm simply doing what any concerned parent would. Evan stepped toward him. Parent? You abandoned her in a storm. Cassandra tossed her hair. She ran away from home in a fragile state. He's protecting her. Aubrey shook her head violently. This isn't protection. This is control. Logan scrolled further. He's claiming you're emotionally unstable. That you're being manipulated. And that Evan, he paused, jaw tightening, abducted you. Evan's stomach lurched. What? Aubrey turned to him, horrified. No. That's not. Grayson cut in. You took her without permission. That's kidnapping, Mr. Mercer. And the police will have questions. Henry slammed his palm on the table, the sound cracking through the room. This ends now. Logan, call Judge Redford. Now. We need an emergency injunction before this poison spreads. Logan was already dialing. On it. Aubrey covered her mouth with trembling hands. He's ruining Evan's life just to keep controlling mine. Evan crouched beside her. Hey. Look at me. She lifted her eyes, wet and scared. I know the truth, he said. Your grandfather knows. Logan knows. And soon the courts will too. A soft knock. The receptionist again, paler than before. Mr. Price, reporters are outside the building now. They're asking for Aubrey Ann. Evan. Evan stood slowly. Grayson smirked. The world believes the first story they hear. Henry straightened, steel in his spine. Then it's time they hear ours. He turned to Aubrey. Are you ready, my dear? Aubrey took a long, trembling breath. And nodded. The conference room transformed in minutes. Logan's team closed the blinds, set up microphones, and prepared sworn statements. Henry stood beside Aubrey like a protective wall of iron. Aubrey's hands trembled as she signed the first page. Once this starts, Grayson will never forgive me. Henry placed a gentle hand over hers. He doesn't need to forgive you. He needs to answer for what he's done. Across the room, Evan watched her, admiring the courage she didn't know she had. Chloe would have said Aubrey had hero eyes. He'd begun to see it too. Logan looked up. Judge Redford is reviewing the emergency filings. We have to record Aubrey's testimony now. Every minute Grayson controls the narrative is a danger. Aubrey nodded, took a shaky breath, and began. My name is Aubrey Hale. I am 21 years old. And I have been emotionally isolated, financially controlled, and publicly used by my stepfather Grayson Hale for years. Her voice wavered, then steadied. She spoke of the restrictions. The tracking chip. The punishments disguised as care. The abandonment in the storm. Evan clenched his fists so tightly his knuckles blanched. Logan's assistant wiped her eyes twice. When Aubrey reached the part about Evan stopping to help her, her voice softened. He didn't know my name. He didn't know my family. He just stopped, because it was the right thing to do. Henry nodded approvingly. Good. Truth doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. The doors suddenly swung open, startling everyone. The receptionist stumbled in. Mr. Price, the police are here. They want to speak with Evan Mercer. Aubrey's face drained of color. No. No, they can't think, he didn't do anything. Evan rose slowly. Calm, steady, protective. Henry stepped forward. They're not taking him anywhere without me. Or a court order. But from the hallway came a loud, commanding voice. Evan Mercer. Step out, please. Aubrey's breathing quickened. If Grayson had twisted the story far enough, Evan could be arrested before the truth saw daylight. Evan turned to Aubrey with a small, reassuring smile. Don't worry. We'll finish this. Then he walked toward the door. Evan stepped into the hallway expecting cuffs, cameras, or Grayson's smug face waiting like a vulture. Instead, two officers stood calmly, hands resting near their belts, not on them. Behind them, a man in a navy suit approached with a folder. Mr. Mercer, he said. My name is Detective Rowan. We're here regarding the Hale situation. Aubrey wheeled to the doorway, voice breaking. He didn't abduct me, he saved me. Rowan held up a hand. We know. Evan blinked. You do. The detective opened the folder. Judge Redford saw the emergency filings. Logan Price sent over evidence, the tracking chip, the medical restrictions, and the footage from last night's parking lot cameras. Enough to justify immediate protective orders. Aubrey gasped with relief. Henry closed his eyes, shoulders finally lowering. Rowan continued, "We're here to escort Mr. Mercer and Ms. Hale safely downstairs. Not arrest anyone." From the conference room behind them came the sound of raised voices, Grayson arguing, Cassandra panicking, Logan shutting them down with cold legal precision. Henry approached Rowan. "What happens now?" "Grayson Hale is being questioned," Rowan said. "And based on the evidence, the court will likely restrict his access to Aubrey and the trust until the investigation is complete." For the first time all day, Aubrey exhaled without shaking. Evan crouched beside her. "You ready to walk through a crowd?" he asked gently. Aubrey nodded. "As long as you're there." The elevators opened onto a wall of reporters. Microphones shot forward. Cameras flashed. Questions exploded. But Aubrey didn't shrink. She lifted her chin, voice clear. "My name is Aubrey Hale. And I'm finally telling the truth." Evan stood beside her. Henry behind her. Logan flanking her. For once, Grayson Hale wasn't writing the story. Aubrey was. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more stories that stay with you.